Well, aloha everybody, and welcome to Think Ocean. I'm Captain John, your host. It's been a while since I posted my last video. Last one was in December. Please check it out. It's called The Queen of the Tiger Sharks here in Kona. I did a great interview with a fabulous lady. She's 65 years old. Her name is Cheryl, and she goes diving every single day with tiger sharks. She's an amazing lady, and we did an amazing interview with her. Some of you might be wondering where I've been since December. Well, folks, since I've been 19 years old, and now I'm 58, I know I look good, right? Thanks a lot. Anyway, that's a long time. I've been going to sea since I was 19 years old. For these last 15 years, I took a hiatus, and I was teaching scuba diving and marine science to young people from 10 to 19 years old. It was a fabulous time. I kind of burned out on it a little bit. COVID came, and I saw it as a sign to quit that and head back to sea. Well, I had to go get my license back because I took such a long hiatus. The Coast Guard told me I had to retest. The license that I hold is a second mate, navigation officer, unlimited tonnage. That's any ship, no matter how big it is, and I have an all oceans endorsement, meaning all over this big, fabulous world. I also have a captain's license for a 1,600-ton vessel, again, all oceans anywhere in the world, and a 1,600-ton, just for you that don't know, is a vessel that's about maybe up to about 300 feet long. I also hold a captain's license for 100-ton sailing boats because I love to sail, and that also is all oceans anywhere in the world. So for the last 3 months, and then it took the Coast Guard a little bit of while to issue me my license, I've been over here in Houston, and I went to the Houston Maritime Training Center, and I studied for my license, and I got my maritime license back, and now I'm heading back to sea. So I thought I would bring back a great blast from the past of one of my favorite ships called the Buffalo Soldier. I love that ship. We took food from here on the Gulf Coast all the way around the Cape of Good Hope and took it here to, where are we at? To Kenya and to Tanzania and to Madagascar. It was a fabulous run. From there, we went up through the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal. We went to Turkey. We took containers for the U.S. military all the way back to the east coast of the United States. Now, this film I'm going to show you about the Buffalo Soldier was the very first film I ever shot on digital. That's when I made my switch back in 2004. I was doing film and video film. I took all that away. I got myself a digital camera, and this is my very first digital film that I ever made aboard the Buffalo Soldier. I hope you enjoy it. Aloha. I wanted to get on a grain ship, as we call them in the industry. That is, a ship that delivers food aid to poor, needing countries. So when the ship, named the Buffalo Soldier, was offered to me, and it was going to be delivering food aid to Africa, I thought, how ironic, and it must be meant to be. Well, it's time to load cargo. And so I met the ship in San Jacinto, Texas, to do just that. Along with loading food, which I'll show you how we do that in a moment, we loaded vegetable oil for cooking. Here we're loading 5-gallon cans of it into hold number 1, which will ultimately hold over 10,000 cans. The people you see in the scene that are loading cargo are called longshoremen, or sometimes stevedores. The crew of the ships that go all around the world do not load or unload cargo. That is left to local workers. Again, they're called longshoremen or stevedores. The ship's crew and officers oversee that process to make sure that it's done correctly and without damage to the ship. The ship's crew also oversees the use of the cranes and the opening and closing of cargo hatches, as well as maintaining ship stability throughout the process of loading and unloading the cargo. The cans will be stacked atop one another, and to prevent them from crushing, the weight is distributed by placing plywood in between them as they are stacked. This is known as dunnage. Here we've hooked up the spreader to hatch number 4 center aft. We then will move it out of the way to make an open access to fit in the spiral vader. The spiral vader is an ingenious loading machine that is made for the quick loading of bagged cargo. From the warehouse ashore, cargo is loaded onto a straight conveyor belt which goes to the spiral vader. The spiral vader is a corkscrew conveyor belt which rotates downwards to a straight chute. These bags of food weigh 55 pounds. We mostly load corn or soybean or a combination corn-soybean blend, and we load rice. We also load 110-pound bags of food, which are the white ones that you see here coming down the spiral vader. The spiral vader and the straight discharge chute are multi-directional and are done so at the loading site. The man in the left side of the screen that you see there has the operational controls and is moving and controlling the spiral vader as needed. Ships are big and they can be dangerous places, so safety is our top priority and always in the back of our minds. One hand for you and one hand for the ship, as they say. So we got underway and crossed the ocean, and one of the magnificent sights that we see at sea are these beautiful seabirds, and they're a good omen. The ship moving through the water pushes the fishes closer to the surface. The birds can dive bomb them and catch them for an easy meal. The ship moving forward also displaces wind upwards at the bow, where the birds float and glide along with ease. I want to take this moment to let you know that this part of my Buffalo Soldier adventure is how the USAid food cargo is loaded and unloaded. And soon we will be in East Africa and I will show you how we unload it. Then my next upcoming video will be about my time ashore in Kenya, Tanzania, and Madagascar. My earlier shots of the birds were from the main deck at the bow. Now I'm filming the birds from the bridge, which is 100 feet up, and you can be mesmerized by how awesome and graceful these birds are. They truly are built and designed for life at sea, just like me. All right, let's get to Africa aboard the Buffalo Soldier. From the ship's deck, this is the entrance channel into Mombasa, Kenya, and that is the famous party spot for all ship sailors and locals alike, known as the Florida Club. The beaches and the coastlines all around Mombasa, Kenya are certainly warm and very beautiful. The discharging of cargo is done by hand, and it ultimately takes 2 to 3 weeks, whereas loading the cargo with modern equipment, such as the spiral vader, takes only 2 days. The longshoremen use rope slings and place the 55-pound bags in them and choke it on the cargo hook, and then they hoist them away ashore. Each lift weighs 2 tons, and 2 teams of 2 men each will tackle the entire cargo hold. So I did a little math, and every single day in the U.S., 4 to 6 ships are loaded with food for the USAid program, and that food is sent to poor-needing countries all over the world. So at 50 million pounds of food for each ship, that equals 200 to 300 million pounds of food that the U.S. provides every single day. And that is a lot of food. The ship holds at least 500,000 individual bags of food. Those white bags weigh 110 pounds, and they take 2 men to lift them into the slings. They work for 12 hours a day at a rate of $2.50 a day. And believe it or not, that is considered good pay, and competition for the jobs on the docks is stiff. The cargo is loaded into 1970s vintage trucks. Everything in Africa is like stepping back in time. And I will show you more of that in my next video when I take you ashore in these poor and desolate, yet very beautiful countries. This is the ship departing out of the channel of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, with our escort pilot boat. And as I mentioned earlier, Africa is like stepping back in time. Here you can see an ancient style fishing sailing vessel that could have been captained by Sinbad himself. It's a stark contrast, I thought, of ancient times meeting modern. The Buffalo Soldier is a multi-use cargo vessel, meaning we can accept many different types of cargo. In this case, we have bagged cargo, but we can also accept palletized or boxed cargo. We could take 20-foot and 40-foot containers, and we can take rolling stock, such as cars, trucks, and tractors. That rolling stock cargo would come on and off the ship via this stern ramp we're lowering here. Along with loading vegetable oil in hold number 1, we also loaded vegetable oil in hold number 5 to be offloaded by tractor and trailer. The ship carried over 5,000 tons of vegetable oil. In Madagascar, a rickshaw is called a puss-puss. And so I filmed this scene with these two beautiful friends of mine that I met ashore. I know, a little cheesy, but fun. All right, so that's loading and unloading cargo in East Africa aboard the Buffalo Soldier. I will leave you with some scenes ashore in Madagascar of fishing canoes and their lobster harvests that they sold us. And my puss-puss driver, his name is Henri, and his son's living situation. My next video, coming out soon, will be about my time ashore, as I said earlier, in these poor and desolate, yet somehow simply beautiful East African countries. Until next time, I'm Captain John.